2004 Lincoln Mark X concept car, the one that could have launched a retro revolution. We point to the exact moment, 20 years ago, when Lincoln lost its mojo. Significant resources are spent whenever an automaker builds a concept car. It doesn't happen every year, nor necessarily every decade for that matter, and it usually signals one of two things. An OE is testing public reaction for a thinly disguised model that's about to hit, or, more important, it signals the advent of a new styling vocabulary across the company's product line. As an image statement about brand positioning and future direction, concept cars must satisfy a lot of criteria. They must obviously look great and be reasonably sturdy, and they typically have an incredible amount of detail and quality materials. Just like the custom hot rods that compete for top honors at the Grand National Roadster Show, Good Guys Street Rod of the Year, or for Autorama's Riddler Award. What past concept cars possess that the country's top street rods don't have is that they often represent a Rosetta Stone for how an automaker styles the future vehicles that it sells. And, as a rule, they almost never end up in public hands. In the case of the Lincoln Mark X concept of 2004, one can plainly see not only hints of what was to come in the years immediately after its debut, but strong styling links to Lincoln's rich past. The Lincoln X concept will soon cross the auction block at Meecham's Glendale event. On Friday, March 8, 2024, as lot number F222, which you'll want to watch live on the Motor Trend channel. The backstory behind the 2004 Lincoln Mark X concept car is a fascinating one because its designer, James Powers, was a stylist for Ford during the late 1950s and early 1960s. Powers was somewhat of a wunderkind at Ford, and worked closely with head stylist Elwood Angle, who would be largely responsible for Detroit's major shift in styling away from fussy and random surface details, scoops, and wings, to unbroken, slab-sided forms with unifying trim. That minimalistic Bauhaus aesthetic would come to exemplify Ford's designs of the late 50s and early 60s, and later Chrysler's styling, beginning in 1962. Powers would work on Engel's team to design the 1961–1963 Ford Thunderbird before leaving the company to form his own design agency in 1964. When Ford redesigned the Thunderbird for 2002 with a throwback retro theme, Motor Trend's 2002 Car of the Year, Powers was not a fan. According to Powers' surviving stepson and Meecham's consignor, Carl Brook, Powers felt so strongly about it that he undertook the design of what would become the 2004 Lincoln Mark X concept car. Lincoln liked Powers' drawing so much that the division commissioned his design to be built as the Lincoln Mark X concept car for the 2004 auto show circuit. Brook says Ford spent upwards of $1 million to build the concept, and as the world would discover, elements from the iconic design Sentinel would be disastrously repurposed in the 2007 Lincoln MKX, crowned one of Motor Trend's worst Lincolns ever made, and the 2007 Lincoln Navigator. One can't help but look at the 2004 Lincoln Mark X concept and see the 1961–1964 Lincoln Continental, a car that galvanized the nation as the fateful last ride of President John F. Kennedy. The filigreed egg crate grille with its knife-edged septum imparts a rigorous precision against a stately slab-sided form unified by a high, stainless steel trim beltline of that was Engel's trademark move, and which would have been a required element in Lincoln's styling studio circa 1960 and in 2004. When Powers designed the Mark X, it was expressly proportioned around the new Thunderbird platform, due 98, and it's no surprise that the concept's overall dimensions and powertrain are taken from it. At the time, it was widely considered a styling breakthrough and rendered Cadillac's concurrent art and science theme a bit lame by comparison. Surviving concept cars like the Mark X are relatively rare because they are either retained by the manufacturer or are destroyed after their useful lives are over. In this case, the Mark X concept was publicly auctioned by Ford Motor Company on August 12, 2010, along with several other Ford concept cars. Its original stylist, James Powers, was on hand, and successfully bid on it. Since that time, the Mark X concept has been in Powers' private collection in Pasadena, California. After its owner and designer passed away on March 11, 2023, it was inherited by Brook, who has consigned it to the Glendale Meecham's auction. Upon the reveal of the 2004 Lincoln Mark X concept at the 2004 Detroit Auto Show, Motor Trend contemporaneously wrote, Ford designers brought newfound elegance to the Thunderbird platform for this concept by looking to both Lincoln's history and future for inspiration. The clean bodywork features a wide grille, tidy high-intensity discharge headlamps, and chrome accents. Of note, this clean fascia introduces a grille that will be used on future products. In fitting with the ever-competitive premium convertible segment, the Mark X features a power-folding, retractable, glass-roofed hardtop. The lime sorbet interior is complemented with white Corian accents, polished aluminum, dark chrome, natural grain leather seating, plush sheepskin flooring, and tailored tone-on-tone stitching throughout. The instrument panel integrates a softly illuminated, jewel-like instrument cluster that combines analog with digital technology. Based on the Do 98 architecture, this two-seat luxury convertible roadster features a 3.9-liter DOHC V8 aluminum engine mated to a 5-speed automatic transmission, delivering 280 horsepower and 286 foot-pounds of torque. Hot rodders see this, from a historical perspective, as a lost opportunity. The 1961–1964 Lincoln Continental stands as a welcome oddity in the hot rodding world, its muscular, road-hugging proportions proving uncharacteristically popular today as a full-sized fun machine, something the 1961–1963 Ford Thunderbird never really achieved outside of a modest circle of enthusiasts. Lincoln never did build Peters's low and lean-looking Continental convertible on the Do 98 platform, most likely because the retro movement never quite caught on with the 2002–2005 Ford Thunderbird. Despite the concept's outrageous success, Lincoln thought better of it, cowering to Cadillac's looming juggernaut. What we got instead was a bait-and-switch grille transplant for the rebadged Ford Edge and Expedition SUVs, as if the public could be cowed instead of wowed. Today, Lincoln has forsaken its legacy of passenger car luxury and is a mid-lux truck brand like GMC. That is a shame, we think. Lincoln may have lost a significant opportunity with the 2004 Mark X. One only has to see how Cadillac's art and science theme has matured over the years, and Cadillac's performance-oriented luxury passenger cars have remained profitable the world over. Nevertheless, the automotive world still has a single Lincoln Mark X among its ranks, and it may become somebody's prized possession very soon. Where it differs from many concepts is that it is drivable, although just barely. Brooke told Hot Rod that the car has a 2-gallon fuel tank for venue mobility and photo shoots, but the car has no VIN, given its status as a ground-up concept. There is consequently no vehicle title and no legal way to drive it on public roads. Also of importance to a potential buyer is that the power retractable top is activated by motors which run on 120 volts AC power. It was, after all, a show car, and only some of the gauges and lights work. It's hard to say what a concept car like the 2004 Lincoln Mark X will fetch, since so few real OE concept cars ever get to auction. We'll note that there is a reserve on this lot, but we're allowed to hint that it's not excessive. When concept cars do meet the hammer, anything can happen, from 7-figure sales like the 1955 Lincoln Futura, $4.2 million, and the 1954 Oldsmobile F88, $3.3 million, to outright filings basement prices like the 1989 Ford Via, $11,000, or the 1996 Ford Ghia Vivace, $3,050. Based on the historical provenance, the instant recognition as being a Lincoln, its state of condition, and the original quality of materials and craftsmanship on the order of today's top award-winning hot rods, we think the 2004 Lincoln Mark X should auction somewhere in the $250,000 to $500,000 range.